So this is for all of you who need to understand how to behave in these situations, how to get away, how to defend yourself if you see or are faced with someone with a knife. You will never know if someone's got a knife. This can happen at any moment. You don't actually know. The only thing you can do is to try to keep a safe distance before he pulls it out. But you have to be thinking in terms that potentially, if you're having an argument that could potentially turn up into be physical, they can have a weapon with them. So you have to be pre-thinking and just being away before anything like that happens. Because when we get into this pushing and shoving, you know, kind of like, hey, oh yeah, well, you know what? And then suddenly he's got it there. And look, he's being nice, but what do you think he's gonna do? He's just gonna stab me. And do you think he's gonna stab once? He's just gonna keep going, right? So this is really massive issue, okay? You could end up being stabbed once and die. You can be stabbed 15 times and not die, but you just can't take these chances. Now, what areas you have to avoid in being cut or stabbed into? Obviously, we're talking about the major organs, right? It might be difficult to get through the rib cage, but still you've got your heart and lungs, the throat, and right here, your major arteries that if they cut, you bleed out in a second. So let's look into what you can actually physically do. We're talking about safe distance in here. If I'm too close to him, there is nothing I can do. I will not even see the knife. If I keep a safe distance and I potentially see him pulling it out, my elbow is in the right place, my hand is right here, okay? Look at him, he's trying to create some space so he can move. However, I'm blocking that space and I'm already right here, elbowing. And then when it comes to knife altercations, you have to be comfortable with the terms that you will get cut. No one is Bruce Lee, okay? And even if you trained for a million years, it doesn't really matter. You will still get cut if you're fighting someone with a knife. However, if you get cut on your hand somewhere here, you will survive. But this is nothing that you can potentially really incur serious danger. So we're standing here and then suddenly I'm keeping my distance to be here and he's not suddenly throwing a punch, right? So I don't want to be here. I'm blocking that and moving to the side. Now I do have an option to strike to loosen him up, or if I'm confident enough, then I'm going to be able to restrain his shoulder and get him now here in the lock so he can't move. So we are here. If he tries to move, I'm actually getting him down to the floor, okay? And then here in that situation, we can be talking, we can be saying, hey mate, please calm down. We don't want any trouble. Are you okay? And then once they calm down, you can let them go, making sure that you still keep that safe distance from them so everything is okay.
So often when we're in a scenario where our back is against the wall, our attacker is going to come for our throat. When we're here, there's a few different things I can do. First of all, I need to be aware of where his body is. I see that his arm is straight. I can come over the elbow, turn, and pull. Now, this can be a terrible place to be. My back's against the wall, my opponent's in front of me. However, if I'm crafty, I can use this to my advantage. My attacker's at my throat, I'm here on his arm, I'm pulling, and look what I've got here, I've got the wall. If my opponent's got me pushed all the way up against the wall and he's too far away for me to do anything with my hands, I can defend myself with a single strike to the groin, or I can follow it up with a palm strike. The third technique can be a follow-up on the second. I can kick to the groin and I can follow up with a palm strike to the throat. So in a self-defense situation, you might find yourself in a headlock, also known as a schoolyard choke, also known as a bulldog choke. This is a very common scenario that you could find yourself in. Now, this is not a great position to be in. When we're here, we want to make sure that we make the best of it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit of space between Andre's arm and my neck. If I let him squeeze, I'm going to lose blood, I'm going to lose position, and it's not gonna be good for me. So the first thing I wanna do is make sure that I've got my hands in here and I'm creating a little bit of space, giving myself some room to breathe. Now from here, once I've got a good grip, I can start to reach my arm up and over. If I've got a good clamp grip on his shoulder, I can drop my arm under his leg and I can dump it. If you find yourself in this situation, you're likely not going to have much time to think. So anything that you can grab onto, pinch, or scratch is going to benefit you in some way, shape, or form. So you can come across, ear, eye, mouth, scratch. Another thing you can look for, groin strike, potentially an up punch, maybe a foot stomp. Again, anything to loosen this grip and get them off you. Bang, bang, bang. Anything. A bear hug is a very common thing for somebody to do if they're coming up from behind you. A very common surprise attack is if somebody comes up from behind you and tries to grab you. The first thing you want to do is prevent that from happening. And you can do that by making sure to grab the arms, widening your base, and not letting them get to your neck. If they get to your neck, you've got a lot more issues on your hands. So they come up behind you, instantly grab their hands. Widen your base, start to work your way around their leg. Now, once you're behind their leg, you can use your knee to push and you can use your arms to pull. And that looks like this. Once they're down, you can strike, you can knee on belly, you can simply remove yourself from the situation. Another common scenario when dealing with a bear hug is somebody might get under your arms. This poses a few different problems. Now, that is problem number one. Problem number two. I don't need to worry about him getting to my neck too much because he's stuck under my arms, but I do need to worry about the pickup and slam or the dump. So again, my first line of defense is making sure I have a good grip on his hands or his forearms. And I'm pushing down as I'm widening my base to prevent him from lifting me up. Now, I can swim my thumb in, create a little bit of space, come under his arm, grip my own wrist, and start to break the grip. From here, I've got a shoulder lock, or I can simply push him over and get out of there. Please understand that real life scenarios are very fluid. What we're doing here is rehearsing these scenarios to show you how you could best react. Again, none of this is going to be perfect. A real life street altercation is going to be ugly. We're just giving you some ideas of what you can do to prevent serious injury and get away safely. If you like this video or found some of the information useful, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time at London Self-Defense Academy. Thank you.